Hello friend, once again welcome on board to my YouTube channel, and today we'll discuss about something new, that is A321 part of air conditioning system. We'll discuss about the cargo ventilation and heating system of Airbus 320 family, why this is required, what is the purpose, what is the concept behind that. And in our previous video already we have covered about the air conditioning system, pressurization system, avionics equipment ventilation system, now cargo ventilation and heating system. So this is also part of Airbus only, but this is an optional thing. So this depend on the operator. If they want to cargo ventilated, then only. Otherwise, most of the airline doesn't use this operation. This is basically primary purpose of this Airbus 320 family cargo ventilation and heating system is to maintain a safe and regulated environment for live animals, goods, temperature sensitive cargo. So before going too deep into this video about the cargo ventilation and heating system, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel for getting more updates about Airbus 320 family and informative knowledge. So let's start with cargo ventilation and heating system. So as an option, Airbus single aisle family forward and aft cargo compartment can have an ventilation system. In addition, of heating system may be installed in either or both compartment, and heating system will only be installed along with the ventilation system. Operation of both compartment is similar, so we'll just look over about the forward cargo compartment. And air from the main cabin drawn into the cargo compartment by extract fan or by the differential pressure in the forward cargo compartment. After circulating through the compartment, air is discharged overboard. Here you can see the schematic diagram, how the system is interacting with each other from the forward cargo and aft cargo area. So just go through this block diagram. It will be very useful to identify the scenario behind the ventilation system. Overall, we'll discuss in detail one by one. Here there is a two isolation wall you can see, and operation of two isolation wall and extract fan is controlled automatically by the cargo ventilation computer, and one ventilation computer is able to control either or both compartment. And for heating of the cargo compartment, pilot must select the desired compartment temperature, and hot bleed air is mixed with the air coming from the main cabin to increase the temperature if necessary. So supply of the hot air is controlled totally by the cargo heating controller, and each heating compartment has dedicated cargo heating controller. In cargo ventilation system, we are not using direct air conditioning air to, and which is going to supply into the cargo compartment area. And pilot also cannot be add cold air to the compartments. Isolation walls and extract fans of the forward cargo compartment ventilation system are located behind the compartment sidewall panel, and the air inlet and outlet are protected by the grill. So on cockpit overhead panel, you'll find out the cargo heat panel contain the controls associated with cargo ventilation and heating. If you'll go further, this is also depend on the customer option. You can see whenever you are going to take delivery of aircraft or you are ordering the aircraft, there is a customization. What are the type of cabin cargo must be required for the customer airline. So this is depend on the airline to airline if they want this option. And here also there is a different ventilation, is either one compartment or both, or ventilation and plus heating is one compartment or both. This is an option depend on the customer. For each ventilated cargo compartment, there is an isolation wall push button switch that control the isolation wall, and this will be in the auto position. The cargo ventilation computer will automatically open and close the isolation wall. If we'll go in a little bit more deeper than what we are saying here, we are using two terms, that is a cargo ventilation and heating, that is your cargo temperature regulation. So if we will talk about the cargo ventilation, what we are doing, ventilation just like think about the avionics equipment ventilation, we are just venting out the air. So here also the same purpose. Cargo ventilation means there is an extractor fan, and that will draw air from the forward cargo compartment or aft cargo compartment, and this will exhaust it overboard, and fresh air from the cabin replace this exhausted air. Thus the ventilation the cargo compartment is happening. So this is the way we are just exhausting the overboard of all the cargo ventilating, and fresh air we are taking from the cabin. And if you talk about the cargo temperature regulation, so system can be mixed hot bleed air with the air coming from the cabin, therefore giving the flight crew control of the temperature in the forward or aft cargo compartment, depend on the scenario, what is available, what is the goods, what animals is there, what live animals are there into the cargo. So that is completely controlled by from the cockpit, and you have to take care necessary precaution whenever any live animals is going through the cargo. So two computer utilizing and doing all the necessary function of cargo ventilation system. One is your cargo ventilation controller, second is your cargo heating controller. This is the two key computer which is utilizing all the function. We'll go in more detail in forward cargo ventilation, and same will be applicable for aft also. So if you talk about the forward cargo ventilation, air from the cabin goes via the inlet isolation valve to the forward cargo compartment and driven either by the extractor fan or the differential pressure in the flight. A skin mounted venturi discharges the air overboard via the outlet isolation valve. And further, if you'll go, cargo ventilation controller controls the operation of inlet and outlet isolation valve and extractor fan. So this computer will control all the operation as I told you earlier. So if you'll talk about further, cargo ventilation system operates in two modes: on ground and in flight. So on ground, or when the differential pressure is less than 1 psi or equal to 1 psi in flight, controller opens the isolation valve, then start the extractor fan. And if you talk about the in-flight, when the differential pressure is more than 1 psi, the controller stop the fan and differential pressure maintain this ventilation system. So if you talk about in overhead panel, there is a controller close the isolation valve and stop the extractor fan. It is under control of the captain. When flight crew set the forward isolation push button off, or forward cargo smoke detection unit detected smoke, then can be used that to control that ventilation system. And there will be the additional function of ditching, outlet valve close and extractor fan stop when the flight crew set the ditching push button to on conditions. So this is also interlinked with the ditching switch. Now if we'll talk about the heating, now previously we have discussed about the ventilation. Now if we'll talk about the forward cargo heating, ventilation system for the forward cargo compartment uses hot engine bleed air, which is also used for cockpit and cabin temperature control, mixing it with the ambient cabin air that flow through the cargo compartment. Cockpit and cabin hot air pressure regulating valve regulate that pressure of this hot air supply, and cargo trim air valve, which is modulated electrically by controller, controls the flow about this hot air. So hot air mixed with the air from the cabin as it is supplied to the cargo compartment through the ventilation inlet isolation valve, and controller will regulate this amount of hot air which is added by the trim air valve to get the desired temperature pre-temperature selector into the cargo area. And if you talk about the temperature, if the inlet temperature exceeded 70 degrees Celsius, controller closes the trim air valve, and if the inlet temperature reaches the 88 degrees Celsius, controller interprets this as a duct overheat and closes the pressure regulating valve. So this is the two concepts. At 70 degrees Celsius, if it is increasing more than that, then controller will close the trim air valve, and if it is reaches further 88 degrees Celsius, then controller will close the pressure regulating valve. This valve then remain closed until the flight crew reset the system by the hot air push button, which is cannot be do until the temperature drops below the 70 degrees Celsius. Just like I think air conditioning system, if overheat detected and temperature become normal, then automatically after resetting the push button, that fault is goes out of you. So just reset the hot air valve, and this cannot be possible until unless the temperature is dropped below the 70 degrees Celsius, then only this possibility will happen. In case of cargo smoke detected, cargo ventilation controller will automatically closes the related isolation valve for each heating compartment temperature selector. Signal the associated cargo heat controller to move the trim air valve to adjust the temperature of the entering into the compartment. and this all the fault will be mostly initiated during the phase 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. If we'll talk about the engine warning display failure related cargo isolation valve fault, you'll have single chime, you'll have master caution, and automatic condition page will pop out, and you'll have a fault light on the isolation valve and hot air valve. And the same thing is applicable for cargo duct overheat also. And if you talk about the cargo heating fault or ventilation fault, you will not have any oral warning, master caution, and there will be no condition air will page will pop out, or local warning you will get. So this is all about the cargo ventilation and isolation valve fault on the engine warning display. So if you see this diagram, that is your cargo ventilation and heating system. You can see that the cargo ventilation controller is directly getting signal from the ditching to control that valve, and you can see there is a smoke detector also signal will go. Then landing air compression logic will go, differential pressure, and there is a crosstalk between the switch and controller. And forward cargo door not lock signal will go to the cargo heat controller. And if you go bottom area, reset and overheat, that is your use for the hot air push button. And if you go to the right side, you'll get ecom indication, and you can see the venturi, how it is venturi system. I'm going to the overboard, and outlet isolation wall also cross talking with the ventilation controller, extractor fan also just cross talking with the cargo ventilation controller. And there is the cargo compartment temperature, upstream and downstream means inlet temperature, you can see outlet temperature. And bottom also there is a isolation valve, and there is a cabin ambient air inlet port, and trim air valve will cross talk with this cargo heating controller. And there is the outlet port for the cockpit and cabin trim air valve, and there is the R gate which is directly controlling the pressure regulating valve. So this is just general idea about the schematic diagram. Will not go in the deep how the system is cross talking with each other. If you have any doubt, you can type in the comment box. We'll try to get with the solution. Mostly this controller will regulate the temperature between the 5 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius, and this will protect the compartment from the overheat by the trim air valve, which mix warm bleed air with the recirculation cabin fan. Now we'll go about the ecom indication. Indication will come on the condition page, and if you'll open the condition page or during fault, this page will automatically pop out. And I have already told about in aviation phase. So we'll discuss about the indication. You can see there is a bottom below the condition page, cockpit forward aft zone. You can see the cargo forward and aft. And first we'll discuss about the forward cargo. You can see everything will be in green if everything is going well. And you can see that first forward mean that is your zone indication, and the second your 15 degrees Celsius. If you see, that is your zone temperature, this will be in always green. Below the 15 you'll see there is a 12, that is your duct temperature. Same like air conditioning, also zone temperature and duct temperature. And next right side of the 15 degrees Celsius, you can see there is a wall, that is your outlet isolation wall. And outlet isolation wall will be, once it will be open, that will be in green. Valve close, it will be in amber color. And if you see about the bottom side, there is the arrow, that is your trim air valve. C and H. C means cold, valve is closed. C for cold, and you can see valve is closed also. And H mean hot, valve is open. So this is about the trim air valve. And if you talk about the isolation valve above the trim air valve, that is also indication green in open condition, and valve is closed if it is cross line amber. So this is just for information. All the valve, just for information, all the valve will be in the green open condition. If there is a failure, or there is a miss degree calculation, or you can see not getting data from the computer, or invalid data, you will have amber caution, and you will have warning also. After cargo heating and ventilation concept is also same as I told you, indication also same, so need not require to explain once again. So guys, hope you love this video, and if you really love this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel for getting more video on Airbus. 320 family. We'll cover all the ATA chapters slowly. It will take time because making this video is not so easy. I have to put lot of effort for you, and this is very useful for the new people who is joining the aviation, who's going to maintain the Airbus 320 family aircraft. This knowledge is very useful for especially Gen Fam, level 1, level 2. I cannot say level 3, but still I am trying to cover most of the thing for better knowledge about the Airbus 320 family for the new people. And moreover, if experienced people also, they can also revise the own knowledge whenever required. Just refresh yourself. Always Airbus is not a small thing, aircraft is not a small thing. This is a flying machine. Every time you'll get a lot of things and everything cannot be memorized. So always sit back, relax, just have a refreshment. You'll have lot of knowledge. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video till end. See you on the next part of the ATA, that is 22 ATA 22 auto flight system, and that will be very useful for the new people. Basically avionics part, I am mechanical, but I will try to give general idea about the autopilot system, and this will help you a lot about this system. So see you on the next part of the Airbus 320 family.